Just give me a minute. Okay, I have started with a cough. I hope it doesn't mess my presentation. Are we here? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Oh, it's Munyongeleshe, please. All right, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. I want us to begin with an introduction of what we are going to do today. And what we are doing today is also going to be carried on tomorrow. Tomorrow we have English in the evening. And so whatever we start today, we'll carry it on with tomorrow's class. Now, last week we did English paper 1, question 1. And we did functional writings. And I think we tried as much as we could to explore that. Of course, we didn't finish all of them. We only did for Form 1 and Form 2. Did just a bit of that. And I asked I asked us to do some work. There's some assignments I gave. I am not sure. I've only seen 2 people who submitted the assignment. I hope the rest of us will find time to do the work because it's important. Because if you don't do, then it's hard for us to follow up. But if you do, we will mark. We'll find time to mark. But if you don't, we assume that you're okay and whatever we learned is good enough. So, so today we want to carry on with paper 1, but question 2. Question 2, remember we said paper 1 has got 60 marks and question 1 has got 20 marks. Question 2 has got 10 marks and question 3 has got 30 marks. And so we want to begin off with question 2. Question 2 that has got 10 marks, and I'm sure all of us know about it because that's something that we have done all our lives, our journey as far as English is concerned, and that is what we call the cloze test. Cloze test, and I want to share that screen. I hope you can see it. I hope you can see that screen. You can also look at it on the WhatsApp. It's also on the WhatsApp. It is the document that begins with, read the passage, the tips. There's one I want to share it away so that we all are able to. Yeah, Are you able to see the screen clearly? I hope I've not zoomed out too much. You okay with the screen the way it is? Are we okay with the screen? All right. All right, so we're talking about the cloze test, and please, you can take a few notes. Though most of those things are the ones that are written there. I'll also be sharing slightly more. And we are saying that a cloze test carries 10 marks. You know? And a cloze test is just what we call a broken passage. A broken passage where we have a normal paragraph, just like there you can write a letter or a paragraph of something, and then you remove some words from that paragraph, as in you just omit some words, and then you're expecting somebody to come and fill in those words without you letting them know what it was, without giving them a clue. You expect them to be able to fill in those words. So the expectation at this point is that you will be able to comprehend. When you read that passage, you'll be able to just know, what is the correct word that you put there. And so we are looking at tips. Yeah, how do you handle that? And let's first of all look at this document, because after that, then you can look at the next document and see what was left out. And number one, I'll read that you need to read the passage, noting the twists and the turns. Whichever word you use, it must add to continuity. Now, before we do that, let me just for a minute. Let me share that other document. Maybe that's a better place to begin. Just a minute. That other document that is written cloze tester on your WhatsApp. Let's use that instead. Oh, goodness. I realize if I start you off with that document, there's something you will miss out. Continue with another one. Yeah, let's begin with this. I hope you can see it a bit clearly. I've just taken an image of a book. The books I was showing you, the pocket-sized books. This is just taken a photo from that. It's a book that is very good, especially for the for the oral skills. So if you have the physical book, you can have a look at it. All right, so we are saying maybe you can have a look at that, and we are saying that a cloze test is a type of test in which one has to put suitable words in blank spaces in a short passage where words have been left out at the intervals of 6 to 10 words, okay? A cloze test has got 10 blank spaces which add up to 10 marks in an exam. A cloze test evaluates one's comprehension of the passage, different parts of speech, spelling, tenses, vocabulary, and general language use. Always supply the blank spaces with the most correct one, the word answer. All right? The one word answer. Now, maybe just to mention, as we talk about the tips and the things to note, is that this passage, actually the purpose of this test is just to test, are you able to identify the various parts of speech? Remember, in English, we deal with the various parts of speech, like the noun, the verb, the adjectives, and all that. And the verbs, we have all those things, parts of speech. Are you able to know the spelling of words? Because when you're marking the cloze test, we also are very careful about the spelling. Have you spelled the words correctly? Are you able to tell the right tenses? Are you able to capture the right tenses? Are you able to know that this is supposed to be a present tense word and this is a past tense word that is put here because of this and this? Is your vocabulary enough? Are you able to use the language, the language generally? How comfortable are you with that? And so therefore, there are a few things that you need to note, as you can see that, and please note them down somewhere where you're noting your note, you're doing your notes. It is important that always we use one word answer. It is always a one word answer. You don't use two words. I see students doing that a lot. You never use two words. It's always one word, one word. Whatever, even if it looks like when you put two words in a better, always use one word. Number two, that for you to be able to answer this cloze test very well, that you must read through the passage at least 3 times without filling in words in the blank spaces, okay? Read the passage. The first time, just read it, without even thinking about it. Just read it. Number two, the first time, you know what you're trying to do when you read it for the first time? You're trying to ask yourself, what is the message? What is this passage about? Is it talking about politics? Is it talking about life issues? Is it talking about education? Is it talking about what is it talking about? Just the first reading, for you to just generally pick what is the passage about. The second time when you're reading, you read it with a keen eye, Now you are more keen on the spaces, the words that you need to write. And as you read this for the second time, you want to ask yourself, which could be the right word that is here. You're not reading yet. You're not reaching anything yet. You're reading through what could be. You are even asking yourself, there's some that will come very automatically. And always carry a pencil with you in every exam. Always. Even if it's an exam in English exam, where you rarely use a pencil, always carry a pencil in your exam. Why? Because what happens is that when you're writing these cloze tests, we always encourage the answers that you first of all think about before you come up with a final answer. Always write with a pencil. Na unaandikililia hapo juu. Don't write on the spaces hapa chini where you're supposed to write the real word. Scribble something pale juu kidogo, just above that word, write something with a pencil. This is the second time when you're reading, because when you do that, you are now starting to process whatever it is that you have read for the first time. The first time, you're just getting the general idea. You just wanted to know what is the passage about, what message was being carried through. Then the second one now, you're trying to fill in, randomly, without even being very, very careful. You're just looking which words are coming very comfortably. Are you able to just tell, I know this is the word to fill in here, and so on. So you fill in that with the pencil for the second time. Now, and when you finish up with that, when you go up to the end, now you go back again when you're more careful now. When you're more careful and you're asking yourself, what exactly in this blank space number one, what word would I use? Ukiwa serious, let me not say ukiwa serious, but now you have allowed your mind, you have exercised your mind in trying to look for the blank spaces. And now, in this and this space now, as you read for the third time, you're almost sure that this is the right word. And so you can use a pen now to write that correct word. At this point is where, when you're doing this reading, you come up, you see like probably the one you did with a pencil may not be very correct as you do the third time. May not be very correct. And so at this point, you can change and write the correct one with the biro Apple Quest, the spaces provided. And so if maybe the ones you wrote with the pencil you feel is still the correct one, you write it down. And so at this point, you're very slow. You're keen, you're thinking through. When you write a sentence, when you write a word in a sentence or two, you go back and read the sentence now with the words that are there and ask yourself, does this even make sense? Does this word fit in this space carefully? Because I think one of the mistakes that we do as students is that we rush the process so fast. We are in a hurry to finish this process. We are in a hurry to fill in the blank spaces and move on to the next thing. Nakumbe, if you are a bit careful, if you give it the attention it deserves, 10 marks is a lot of marks. And for you to score anything less than 6, that is not okay. You should at least score something above 6, going up 7, 8, and it's very possible to score. But you need to be very, very careful because there's so many. The examiner sometimes does not just give you a cloze test, which you will score everything. The examiner will expect you to engage your mind, to engage your intellect, to engage your knowledge on the parts of speech, the spelling, the tenses, the vocabulary, and therefore please give it the time it deserves. And so we are saying, therefore, always read the passage at least 3 times and make sure that you fill in the correct words as far as you understand it. Number 2, you note carefully the repeated words and ideas. What are these words that you keep seeing there? Which are these ideas that you keep seeing in the? Sometimes you'll see the cloze test has more than 1 paragraph. They're not always 1 paragraph. They're more than 1 or 2 paragraphs. Which are these points, ideas that are coming up in paragraph 1? The same idea is coming up in paragraph 2. What that does, when you're careful about that and you're keen about that, it opens up your mind to the vocabularies that are related to that line of thought, to that idea, to that, there's a register, there's a choice of words that are only suitable for those words. I mean, for that thought pattern, thought line. So therefore, as you read, you must be careful to ask yourself which words has the author or the person who wrote this passage, what have they been wanting to communicate, which words are they repeating, and so on. And those will act as possible clues. Okay. Then number 3, you need to note the punctuation of the passage as this gives possible clue. And this I want to say very clearly, that one of the reasons why students fail is because they ignore the punctuation of those of the cloze test. Because if, for example, the sentence, the blank space begins with a place where after the full stop, and you can see full stop, you meandika, let's say, for example, in that point number 2, note carefully repeated words and ideas, full stop. So the word this is the one that has been left as a blank space. So you have dash could act as possible clues. So that word this is supposed to be a capital letter. The word this should begin with a capital letter. Why? Because mbele yake ilikuwa a full stop. So sometimes you see students, they have the correct word, but they decided to begin a sentence with a small letter. Now, let me tell you, when you begin a new sentence with a small letter in a cloze test, you will lose the whole mark, even if you are correct. I hope you get that. You need to make sure that you begin with the capital letter where needed. Number 2, when you also have a word somewhere in the middle, and then you decide to use a capital letter, and kumbe it's supposed to be a small letter, lowercase, and then use a capital letter, you will not get a mark. So you must be very careful to make sure that your punctuation is okay. If there is a full stop that needs to be done after you write a word and you realize this is the end of it, because the next word is a capital letter, so of course, that's a full stop. It's okay for you to put a full stop. Unajua inakuanga to dots, the space, inakuanga the dashes, inakuanga imewekwa dots. But sometimes you don't even know whether this dot is a full stop or not. Just put a dot. Just put a full stop with your pen, because you're communicating that I understand that this is the end of a sentence, because the next word that comes is a capital letter. And so the same thing, I think that point is under there, but let me just say it here, that you must, if it's, for example, it's proper nouns, for example, then you know that the word that is here looks like a proper noun. Proper nouns begin with capital letters. Make sure that you capitalize your work. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you will actually not score a mark out of it. All right, so let's go to the next point. Give one word answer, which also includes hyphenated compound words. I think I'd said that earlier, that the answers must always be one word. With that includes the hyphenated compound words, like, for example, the compound, the collective nouns, the father-in-law, some of them, it's one word. It is not 3 words. It is 1 word. So those hyphenated words is 1 word, and therefore when you're filling them in, the compound words, you will use them as 1 word. If by any chance you feel tempted that these are supposed to be 2 words, clearly that's a clear sign that those are wrong answers. Those are wrong answers. All right, I'm going on to the next point, that ensure that your answers are relevant and grammatically correct, because we need to ensure that. Number 3, put emphasis on the subject-verb agreement. Very, very correct. Put emphasis on the subject-verb agreement. He does, she does, it does, okay? So the subject and the verb needs to agree. The subject is a singular, the verb should be singular. If the subject is in plural, the verb should be plural. They do, okay, not they does. She does, not she do, okay? I know sometimes that sounds very funny, but it's in writing, it's very possible for us to find ourselves doing without not allowing a subject and verb to agree. All right, as you carry on, the next point, use noun numbers correctly. For example, the noun numbers, make sure that you write the numbers well. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that you write the 1 and 2. Don't write in numerals. Don't write in numerals. You write the noun numbers correctly. And if they're in singular, write it in singular correctly. And if it's plural, you write it correctly. And then maybe at this point, it's also good to mention on the spelling. I don't think I've mentioned about the spelling. If your spelling is correct, if your spelling is wrong, if you have a wrong spelling, then that means that answer is wrong, whether it was right or not. Any wrong spelling, however good the answer was, you will not get a mark for it. So therefore, we need to be careful about our spelling. Very, very good. I want to move on to the next document that I had shared earlier, so that we can finish up on that part. Allow me to, the one for the tips. There is a document we had looked at for the one for the tips. Let's look at it, just see whether there is a point we have left out. Yeah, let's have a look at that document just in case something we've left out. Most of them could have been covered. Let's just read it for the sake of it. And we are saying, read the passage, noting the twists and the turns. Whichever word you use, it must add continuity. I hope that is clear. That as you read for the 3rd time and the 4th time, you must make sure that those words are adding up. There is flow, there is cohesion. The passage is making sense. When you read it yourself, does it make sense? Then the next thing is that familiarize yourself with the day-to-day use of language of communication. That means you need to read broadly. The more you read, the more you're able to allow your mind to be familiar with the words that we use every day. And so therefore, those kind of things are the ones we are saying that when you familiarize yourself with the day-to-day use of language of communication, it is easy for you to fill in those gaps because this language is not strange to you. The more you read, the better your mind is getting used to it. And therefore, when a space is left out in any conversation, in any paragraph, it's easy for you to pick it. The next thing is exposure to media language. For example, the TV, the radio, the newspapers, and the magazines. I know nowadays we rarely read those things, but it's good for you to read them. Then we have that other point, be keen on the lettering, And I want to raise those issues of the I, the L, the F, the G, the O, and the Z. We can use the sounds and talk about how in the spelling issue, the spelling. Because if you're supposed to write a word and you write I without the dot, okay, you're writing a word, and most of us do that. And by the way, this will make you lose a lot of marks. If you write the word and your I does not have the dot, that is wrong. You will lose that mark because that is wrong spelling. If the L, capital L and small l, you must be very, very careful. the capital L and small l. And I want to add another word there, the M. M is another one that people feel very much. M, you have to shape the M. You know, the corners. I wish I'm able to draw it. You have to shape the corners of M like this. Sorry, do that. Because there are some people who write M like that. There are some people who write M like that. Now that is small m. Then if you're writing capital M, we must see the corners like that. If you write this is small. And so if you're writing this at the beginning of the passage, it becomes a wrong answer. Becomes a wrong answer. If you're writing the word like what? Scissors. And then you write without, you see like the way we've written Caesar. And you have not put the I there. You have not put the dot there. This word, see, without the dot, that word is wrong. And you will lose a mark. And so therefore, there are some of those things that you must be very careful. And the same thing also, let me also talk about the F. The F, that is small f. But if you're talking about capital F, we must see the corners. We must see the corners coming through. We must see a corner and another corner and another corner, and that coming through that. And so therefore, what we are saying is that when it comes to cloze tests, we are so careful about some very petty things, by the way. Let me call them petty, very petty things, and you will end up losing a mark that probably were not supposed to be lost because of that. Now, it comes to G. When it comes to G, there are some who will write G like this. You don't allow it to go down. You don't allow it to go down to the other line. Now, other people will write this G, unaiandika hivyo. Unaiandika, ni kama, it looks like a what? It doesn't even look like a G. Kenya, it looks like, I don't even know how to describe. It doesn't look like a clear G, like this one. Like this one. It doesn't look a clear G. So what we are saying is that when you're doing the cloze tests, how you write, your handwriting. For those of us who do not have very beautiful handwritings, and I am one of them among those people, when it comes to the exams, you must be very careful. Otherwise, you will lose marks. When it comes to Z, you write it as it is, not the one we write like this. There are those who write Z that way, in a way that one would think it's a 3. It's an inverted 3. This is wrong. Yeah, Pili, use the first one. So basically, I hope that is clear to us that you must make sure that whatever you're writing can score you a mark. I want to go on to the next line. Okay, let's read the next one. Okay, then the next thing is that what has happened? All right, let's go on. Yeah, so the next statement is avoid options in answers. I hope that is clear. Avoid options in answers. I hope that is clear. You don't put a slash, that you can have this stroke this. You can have this stroke the other one. You only give one, like we had said earlier. You give one. Don't slash, don't give stroke. Don't give us two answers. When you give us two answers, you get both of them wrong, even if they were both correct. Don't give two answers like this and or the other one. Just give one. Maybe you have a word in your head and you're thinking you can have this word, and even the other one is also means the same. So you write both of them with a slash. You don't do that. Just give one. Observe punctuation, e.g. question marks, the WH or yes questions, commas before words. You'd suggest conjunctions, semicolon before word. Unaweza soma hizo. I think we had talked about that. Check out on collocations. In every cloze test, there must be 2 or 3 collocations. I will explain that. Test your answers on the parts of speech used. I think we had said that. Ensure that we have the correct parts of speech. If it's a noun, ensure that the noun is well placed. If it's a verb, ensure the verb is well placed. And then emphasize on the passage. Ensure that you feel the turns and the twist of the story. Ensure that the story is making sense, is what we had said. Ensure that it's logical. Don't allow it not to make sense. After you are done ukisoma, if you are telling somebody that story, when you're umeiandika, would it make sense? Are you able to see that what the author wanted you to see? And you, of course, you're taking care of how the story is turning. If the passage is turning, is taking a different turn, are you able to turn with it, or you're still stuck on the previous paragraph? Try to find out what was the missing word. On the remaining gaps, think about the parts of speech which may fit in each gap. Is an article, a noun, an adjective, conjunction, verb, or an adverb? I think it's the same thing. You're talking about the parts of speech. Very good. I want to conclude with that part. A preposition followed by a noun, an adjective, or verb, e.g. good at football. It's one of those things we are talking about, the verbs of the parts of speech. When it's a connector, for example, first he stood up, then he walked towards the door. If you're dealing with a preposition of phrase, in case of, and so on. Yeah, so I want you to read those ones. They are, just a minute. Sorry for that noise. Yeah, so at your own time, please read through that document. Read through that document. Just a minute. Read through that document. It will assist you in as far as that is concerned. Very, very good. I want us in a minute before we move on to something else, or allow you to ask a question. Allow me to share with you this cloze test for a minute. Let me share with you this cloze test. We just do one very fast. Just do one cloze test very fast so that it's easy. It's one of the ones we have shared. There is that cloze test 4. I hope you can see it. It's in your documents. We can share that. We can do that. And by the way, the cloze tests are not supposed to take very long. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. You can look at your WhatsApp. There's a cloze test 4. Just tell me if you're able to see it. Because I wanted us to try that for a minute. Because, like, remember we said, once we cover a certain area, we are not coming back to it. Like we did the functional writings from one and 2. We'll take a minute before we come back to it. Now we are dealing with the cloze test. We'll also take a minute before we come back. Hata sidhani nitarudi kwa cloze test at all. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to move on to the other parts of paper 1 and then to paper 2, and then I leave this uncovered. It's good for us to do at least an exercise. So are we able to see that cloze test, the one that begins with I do not support abortion? Can you see that? Give me feedback. Sikuwe najiongelesha sana. pole iliweka landscape. I think it's my camera or my skills. My photography skills could be the ones that are challenged. So please take a minute. Can you do for me that cloze test in just a minute? As you do, maybe what I would want you to do, you can use the WhatsApp so that, or okay, whatever you use, but I would want us to start writing. Number one, what do you think would be the answer for number one? I want to give you around 3 to 5 minutes. I'm sure that could be sufficient. Remember, you're supposed to read it thrice. The first time unasoma tu, you read through the first time, and maybe that we can do together. We can just do together. Nastaki kuambia msome. Because unajua asubuhi watu watakangi kusumbuliwa sana. So maybe if you're doing it in the evening, I would ask you to read. But let me read for you, Mimi, because kuongea lazima niongee. We said the first time you read it for yourself, you just read it so that you understand what it means without even thinking what could be the answers. You say, I do not support abortion, but there are cases of incest, dash. There are cases of incest. Please look at your own document, because hii lazima nisonge nayo kidogo. So that it fits on my screen. So just use your whatever I have posted on the group. I do not support abortion, but there are cases of incest, dash, rape, where, dash, should be given a chance to choose whether to live with a child or not. My position is informed, dash, the Christian faith I profess. The Bible, dash, states that thou shall not kill. Of course, there may be a scenario in which a doctor is faced with a dash where a mother's life is in danger, and the only way to save her life is to abort the dash. It is unfortunate that nobody wants to address this issue directly, full stop. Dash, personal view is that doctors and experts should have the leeway to make professional judgment. There are hard dash to be made, like in the event of dash. Okay, my gadget is messing me up. In the event of dash risk of losing life, does the doctor save the fetus or the mother, or let both to die? When does life begin then? According to churches, life begins at conception. And when does it end? Is it when one is put in a life support machine, or when a doctor dash one dead? There is need to be pragmatic on this issue about abortion. Now, the first reading you're doing, sorry, my reading is not very good. It's because my gadget is not helping me very much. But the first reading that you're doing is just that, just to get the general idea. What is this about? What is this cloze test about? What is the passage about? And now we know it's talking about abortion. It's talking about the options. The discussion is about the validity of abortion. Is it okay? Is it not okay? At what point should it be allowed? At what point should it not be allowed? And so on. So the first one, umesoma hivyo, umeunderstand hivyo. Then you go around this, you go again the second time. And this time you are saying, I do not support abortion. There are cases of incest, dash, rape. Now, I want to check that word rape. Have you seen the word rape is in capital letters? Just a minute.
Yes.
Have you seen that the word rape is in capital letters? What does that mean? I don't know. I'm hoping it's not a typo, because nashanga. Hiyo jina, the last word. Ebu tell me, what do you think? Which word should we put there? Let me use my document. Naona kama hii nini inanisumbua. Hii yenye iko kwa soft copy inanisumbua. But wacha niache hapo for anyone who wants to read. But use what is in the WhatsApp. What do you think? Can you see a full stop? Do you think there's supposed to be a full stop there? Ndio tuanze hiyo jina rape na capital letter.
Yes.
Yes, I think there must be a full stop.
Yeah.
That's when the word rape has been started to later.
That's with a capital letter. Very good. Which one do you think should fit in there? Which one do you think would fit in there? Just give it a try, even if you're not Nini. I have the answers with me because anataka to mark as we do, ndio tusonge haraka. But it's important for us to attempt at least one. What do you think? Now when I look at the answers, I think I think there was a problem with that cloze test, because when I look at the answers, when I'm thinking about rape being in a capital letter, I'm wondering how does that sentence end with incest and then a word there? Because now that's where you had me asking. I feel like the word rape is not okay to be a capital letter.
It shouldn't be capital letter.
Sorry?
The word rape, I think it shouldn't be in a capital letter.
Yeah, I don't think it should be a capital letter, because ikikuwa ni capital letter, hiyo sentence itaisha aje. It looks very incomplete. And then just so that because I think there's an error there, the word and, the answer is the word and. So let's see whether and, how does and do? I do not support abortion. Yes, I do not support abortion, because that's where the full stop is. But there are cases of incest and rape where dash. I think being the fact that the sentence begins with but, I think that rape is supposed to be small letter, so that and fits in well. So you can see how the a typo like this one would really mess you up, because you are wondering which word do you put on space number 1 for it to be the end of a sentence, because rape begins with a capital letter. And so therefore, let me correct that for you so that you don't get very confused. You can just note it down that sentence should read, I do not support abortion, full stop, but those but there are cases of incest and rape where dash. Let's go to the number 2 now. I hope we don't have another error like that, where dash should be given a chance to choose whether to live with the child or not. What do you think it could be the right word for that?
1.
Which one do you? Yes?
1.
Where one should be given a chance. That's okay. We can have one. Where one should be given a chance. That's fine. And remember, by the way, cloze tests have got in the marking scheme, the examiner is allowed to have many options. One can say one, the other one can say another word, and both of you or most of you will get it correct, even if the answers you give are different, because as long as that word fits in well there, it is still okay. So 1 is okay. What other one do you think can fit in there?
Someone.
Yeah, where one or someone is given, where someone is given. I think maybe instead of saying someone, I think one is better. Someone takes it more specifically, but when you say one, you are leaving it very you're leaving it general. You're giving a general answer where one is allowed. Okay, when you say someone, the word that some before you get the one makes it a bit specific, and we're not looking for specifics in this case. So it is not so wrong, but one is better than someone. I hope I don't know whether I'm making sense, but it's a good trial. It's a good trial. Anybody else would want to add to that?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Well, my thinking is because
Mhm.
we are talking about a child and rape. We know that not in a bad way, men cannot conceive, right?
Yes.
So my thinking was, and rape where a woman should be given a chance to choose whether to live with a child or not.
Very good. That's a good thinking. And I like that because when now you know, in this case, when you're talking about abortion, it can't be a man. Has to be a female we are talking about. Your answer would have been correct were it not that you have used two words. Where a woman, you can't write a and woman. Those are two words. So if the
Okay.
space would have allowed you to say woman, you get,
Yeah.
or women, maybe if you said where
But
women should be given a chance.
but
Can we say,
I don't think grammatically we can write where a woman,
can we say women?
where women, yeah, we can say women.
Yeah. Where women should be given a chance to choose whether to live with the child or not. I think women sounds okay. What do the others think? Is the women okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, but the
Yes.
answer says victims. The answer says victims, which is still okay. Yeah, so you can just note victims. That is what the answer says. Which
I have
even
another one.
yes.
Where
Mhm.
people should be given a chance to choose whether to live with the child or not.
Yeah, people, but I think in this, that's okay, that's correct. But I think in this context, when we look at the more appropriate, remember kuna mahali tulisema, when you're filling in the answer, make sure that you look for the most correct, okay, but they grammatically hakuna kitu kama most correct. It's either correct or wrong, most appropriate, So when you talk about people, like somebody had said earlier, when you talked about, it's only women who can conceive and get into abortion issues, So badala ya kusema people, because that is too general, people can include boys and girls and men. We would rather talk about women because the females are the ones who can get. I hope you're getting the point. So grammatically, it is correct to say people, but ideally, when you look at the semantics means the meanings of the words. The word women is better than people. Very, very good. Can you move on to number 3? My position is informed dash the Christian faith that I profess. Somebody can tell us. My position is informed dash the Christian faith I profess.
That
Bye.
Is informed. Somebody has said that. Read again. Now, when you say
Bye.
that, read the sentence again with that. My position is informed that the Christian faith I profess, full stop. So the word that makes that sentence incomplete. So hatuwezi kuwa na full stop hapo kwa profess. Ingekuwa hakuna full stop hapo, the word that would have been okay. But I have had somebody say by, let's see, my position is informed by the Christian faith that I profess. I think by sounds better. Sindio? Yeah. Actually, the answer says by. Yeah, so I hope you're noting the difference as you give the answer that as before. That's why I talked about the pencil. When you write with a pencil, you're able to come back again and read again and ask yourself, if I say this word, will it sound okay? All right. I hope we are together. Tuko pamoja, We can go to number 4. The Bible dash states that thou shalt not kill. The Bible dash states that thou shalt not kill. Which one do you think?
clearly.
Clearly. Another person says thereby. What do you think? Clearly, thereby, any other option? You read again. The Bible clearly, the Bible clearly states, the Bible thereby states. Wale wengine wanasemaje?
Explicitly.
Explicitly. Hey, umeamua kwenda nini? That's
Dupa.
okay. That's a correct word. That's a correct word, but please be very careful with the spelling, because ukisema mwenye amesema clearly andike vizuri na wewe uandike explicitly alafu umisspell even a single letter, you will lose that mark. So ukiandika explicitly is very nice, but make sure that you're very sure about the spelling. Kama hauko sure, just go for what you're sure about. But explicitly and clearly is okay. Thereby, I don't think that's okay. Is there anybody who was saying thereafter or therefore? Because those are not okay. The Bible therefore states that, no, the word therefore shows consequence. So we are not having an issue of consequence here. We are just explaining what is communicated. Very good. Let's go on to number 5. Of course, there may be a scenario in which a doctor is faced with a dash where the mother's life is in danger and the only way to save the life is to abort the dash. Now, when you read the whole sentence like that, unasoma yote. Remember this, you're reading for the second or the third time. And don't be in a hurry by the way to do these things. Don't be in a hurry to do a cloze test. Look at it. If there may be, read the whole sentence because it will help your mind to fix in the right words. So what do you think we can put in number 5? Of course, there may be a scenario in which a doctor is faced with a dash.
Dilemma.
Case.
With a
dilemma.
dilemma.
Case.
Case. C-A-S-E. The doctor may be faced with a dilemma where a doctor may be faced with a case where the mother's life. Anybody else with a different opinion? What about a situation? You're faced with a situation. Which one is a better word? You're faced with a situation, you're faced with a dilemma, you're faced with a case. Which one sounds better?
I think situation and a case
Situation and a case. Kuna mtu anasema a dilemma because you're forced, you're in a situation where you have to choose. I think it is still okay, but the question is, will you be able to write the word dilemma vizuri? Because I see that's another problematic word. I don't know how we write it, dilemma or dilemma, double M. Is it double M, single M? Does it have, those things? Well, how do you write the word dilemma? Somebody help us with the spelling of the word dilemma.
D-I L-E double M-A.
Double M-A, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, I see students putting M-N-A. Paka unamuuliza, N ulitoa wapi? Where do you get N from? So that's okay. I think it is still okay when you say faced with a dilemma, whether to the mother's life, whether a mother's life is in danger, and the only way, just a minute. Of course, there is maybe a scenario in which a doctor is faced with a dilemma where a mother's life is in danger, and the only way to save her life is to abort the
fetus.
fetus.
Or the baby.
Yes, to abort the fetus. Yes, even if you also say the baby, it's also okay because ideally it's a baby, but the most correct one is a fetus. How do you write the word fetus? Somebody says F-O
E-T-U-S.
E-T
U-S.
F-O-E-T-U-S, fetus. Now that's correct. Now, if you realize that if you misspell the word fetus, therefore, as much as you're correct, you will have it wrong. Kama hauko sure the meaning of the spelling of the word fetus, write the baby. Yeah, it's safer. It's safer for you to write the baby because there could be an opportunity of you getting a mark with the baby than misspelling the word fetus, because there is no chance of getting a mark misspell the word fetus. Very good. I like how we are going. Let's go on to the next point, number 7. It is unfortunate that nobody wants to address the issue directly, and there is a full stop. Okay. Then we go on to dash. Dash my personal view is that doctors and experts should be given the leeway to make professional judgments. Which one do you put there? Number 7.
On.
Sorry?
On my personal view.
On my personal view. Okay, that's a good trial. Somebody else? Somebody says on my personal view. Just give it a try. Even if you're not sure, just try. That's a good try on. But I think there's a better one. Let's see. Sorry?
In my personal view.
Not really.
Therefore.
No, therefore, no. There are those words we call transitional words and phrases. We do that in book 3. Transitional words. When you're moving from this thought to the next one, or this paragraph to the next one, kuna hizo majina, and sometimes we must, I think one of these finders will look at them because we'll also use them when you're doing essay writing. And when you use the word therefore, what you mean, in this case, we are looking at something to show contrast. That this is what everybody says. Lakini mimi, my personal view is that doctors, you're showing contrast. So there are those words that you can only use to show contrast. I don't know whether I'm communicating that. Maybe that's maybe grammar. That's a part we could probably look at because it's very, very important. It cuts across many other points.
However.
But now let me give a caution there. There are some words like therefore. However, when you say them at the beginning of the sentence, there must be a comma. In this case, there is no comma. Okay, so you can't use however and therefore because hakuna comma.
Okay.
You get?
Well understood.
Yes. Now the answer says but. But my personal view is that doctors, but B-U-T. Yes.
Sio rahisi.
But you don't put a comma. You're showing a contrast. You're showing this is what people have been saying this, but mimi mwenyewe, I think the doctors should be given. So you're showing contrast. When you use closed, I think, I don't know why closed tests are the easiest to do, but they require another level of thinking and practice, because the more you practice, and don't worry, I'll give you quite a number of them. I can actually, there's a booklet I have, I hope I have it on soft copy, that has so many of them, almost like 30 of them. You can have a look at each one of them. By the way, the more you do them, ukizimark, unafanya ukimark, sometimes zingine hata hazimake sense. There are others that are easy, but some of them, as you get challenged, you get the answers, you get challenged and you get the answers. Mind hufunguka tu, pole pole tu. So don't worry, we'll get there. We have this year to practice, so do not worry about it. So put the word but along the way. If you have something different, always feel free to add, as long as it is the correct one. Yeah, so we need to finish up on this. My personal view is that doctors and experts should have the leeway to make professional judgment. There are hard dash to be made, like in the event of dash. Okay. This one should not be very hard. There are
hard decisions.
Yes, there are. That is number 1. Number 8. There are hard decisions. Remember, it is not decision, it is decisions. It is plural. There are hard decisions to be made in the event of dash risk. In the event of dash, give us that. Give it a in the event of dash risk.
Such risk.
Such risk. Now, when you say such, You cannot say such risk of losing. You cannot say to be made in the event of such risk of losing.
The risk.
Part of. Uh-huh.
The risk.
Sorry? The event of? Go ahead, start again. Somebody was saying something? In the event of? That's a better one. That's a better one. Any other? Can we use a? We are using an article there. So there is okay because it's a definite article. There is the risk of losing life. Okay. Can you say in the event of a risk of losing life?
There is a better one.
There is a better one. I think there is a better one because we are more specific. We know what we are referring to. I think there is better. All right, very good. Does the in the event of the risk of losing life, does the doctor save the fetus or the mother or let both of them die? Let's go to the next one. When does life begin then? According to churches, life begins at conception. When does it end? Is it when one is put on a life support machine or when a doctor dash one dead? What do you think?
Terminate.
When a doctor terminates one dead,
Declares.
declares, confirms. There's somebody saying terminates, declares, and confirms. The right word should be declares. The right word should, when a doctor declares, when we are talking about talks about the life support machine. We are on the life support machine, eh? Yeah. So when you're on a life support machine, is it when one is put on a life support machine or when a doctor declares? Even the word confirms can still do. The word confirms can still do, but remember, you cannot be said to be dead until the doctor comes and says that you're dead. So that's why the word confirms, he comes and confirms or declares, nimesema, I am sure nimekufa. So both of them would still do, but the word terminates, that will not come in well because of the use of the life support machine and so on, because this is natural. When you say terminating, it means that it was not natural and so on. Yeah, so declares or confirms. There is need to be pragmatic on the issue of abortion. Very, very good. Very, very good. I wish we had time. Tungefanya cloze test another one, number 7 and number 8. But I think what I'll do another photo. I'll send you the other photos for the other cloze test. I think because I have the answers for these ones, I will send them to you. I'll send them in the group as the assignments at your own time. Maybe I can just send them without editing them, without doing what? Without cropping them, because sometimes when you crop and you want to print a document, it becomes difficult. But you can just write them. You can just write them in your exercise book. I encourage you to write down things. You know why I'm asking you to write down things? Don't rely on the material that is in your phone, because anything can happen to your phone. It can crash, it can be stolen, God forbid, something can happen to it. Or sometimes you just wake up, you're changing some things, did you email, or you're doing something on the settings and you lose all your documents. So that means ile masomo yote tumesoma, you end up losing everything. The only thing that you're sure about ni yenye umeandika na mkono. So these assignments we are giving, these new classes we are having, as much as possible, find time, hata notes zenye umetumiwa, sit down and scribble some notes. Sit down, even if you're able to print them well and good. But unless you have a backup, easy documents tunatuma, have a place where you can back them up so that in case anything happens to your phone or to your email addresses or to something or your gadget, you don't lose everything. But much more, as much as possible, please write down things with your pen, because when you do that, when you engage your brain with writing things on the book, we say the brain is a muscle. When you engage your brain by writing things down, it enhances retention. You don't forget. But when you just read without writing, the retention is very low. But when you write with your hand and it's coming from your brain, your head to the paper, it becomes easier to remember what you wrote. So I want to encourage you to do that. And I think as far as the cloze tests are concerned, I think we'll pause it at that. And so that tomorrow we'll start off with the oral skills. And I want to hope everybody will attend, because that's an area that you can be sure you will be tested. You people may not be tested on the oral, the 2027 candidates may not be tested on poetry, a poem in poetry, and a poem in the oral skills, because in paper 2 you will have a poem. But I would want you to attend and to make sure that you follow through, because those questions, whatever we'll be handling, will be part of what we will cover in the poetry part. So it's like, and during the time for the other one, I will not go into details, because in the evening I will cover it in depth. I'll cover in depth the sound patterns. I'll cover them in depth. So mtu mwenye anataka hizo nitamwambia rudia angalie video. So as much as possible, let's attend these classes. Let's find help. Let's gather as much as we can. And I'm sure the work of our hands will find blessings in the hands of God. So therefore, I think we'll end it at that. We'll have a lovely day. Unless there is a burning question, then I will declare the class ended. Any question, any concern?
Okay, Mwalimu, my concern is,
Yes.
can you hear me? My concern is this, the so-called cloze test seems to be very, very easy
Yeah.
when you've not yet started.
Looking
But
at it.
as you go as you go along, it becomes
Yeah.
technical.
Yeah.
But if you can be able to share with us a lot of them at the end of the day, we shall be okay.
I will actually do that. There's a document I have somewhere online. There's a document I have somewhere and has quite a number of cloze tests. The one I have has around 10 of them, and they have the answers. Maybe I could begin from those ones. Nina, let me see if I can get the soft copy of these documents so that I can send them as a good document that you can print as it is. Maybe
Yes.
that will help. Let me see, so that when you print them, na unaacha hizo spaces, those of us who have a space where you can print, I really like the physical work. Physical work, vitu zenye unafanya, unaweka kwa file, it really helps. Then after you're done, I think some of these things I'll not be giving you answers. Me, I'll be waiting for you people to finish, then I give you answers. Because nikiwapea answers, some of you won't do. So unaniambia umefanya na kutumia answers, but I will give you. I will send you quite a number. And these are good. You can even decide, I'll be doing a cloze test every day, just to jog your mind. Yeah, so I will give you. The more you do, the better you become. I will do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sawa. All right. So if there's no other issue, guys, let's have a wonderful day, and may God bless you.
Good day to you.